Can I start? Can I encourage somebody to start the whole dialogue? What does high impact leadership mean for you? What does it look like? Or what would it look like? And what do you think are the skills and competencies required for being a high impact leader? So, and I suggest when you're speaking, if you can turn your video on, then it's great. If you can't, then speak without turning your video on. But please do speak, okay? Otherwise, we'll be here for a long time because I'm not going to answer these questions. You're going to have to. So what does high impact leadership mean for you? What would it look like? And what do you think are the skills and competencies required for somebody to be a high impact leader? So will somebody save me by saying something?
Well, I would say a high impact leader is someone that is actually helping individuals to grow, pushing them farther. And that's how I would say it would look like. I'm doubting in this case what is really the difference between a leader and actually a coach. Someone that really helps people and gives the tools to people to get the best out of themselves. And for that, I think the most important qualities would be like skills would be like listening and possibly, yeah, listening and flexibility, because I believe there is no only one way of managing or being managed. So
Yeah,
really
yeah,
to be able to understand what the other person needs to get out of it or how the other person likes to be encouraged.
right. Very good. Uh, Thank you so very much for stepping into the breach, Elena. Where are you located?
In Brussels, I'm located in Brussels.
Wonderful, wonderful. We got the EU here then, right? Or is it just Belgium? Thank you so much for stepping in the breach and answering that question. So somebody else, what do you think? What do you think? What does high, well, I've forgotten what those questions are, but anyway, you know what I mean, right? What is high impact leadership for you? What does it look like? What are the skills and competencies that are required for being that kind of leader? So somebody else?
One who would look at, a leader who would look at communication, communicating the model which would take the organization further, huge amount of knowledge sharing, collaborative skills, which surely would
Very
stand up
good.
here.
Very
And
good. Yes, Babu.
obviously, yeah,
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I
and
interrupted you. Go ahead.
maybe a risk-taking abilities at that amount of time to move forward.
Great, great. Very good, S. Babu. Thank you very much. And I don't know whether it's difficult for you, but if you turn on your video, that will be so much better. But thank you. Somebody else?
Good evening. Good evening to
Yes.
all. Actually, a leader should have some vision and goal. And
Right.
once we set up vision, mission, and goal, and they have to make a SOP. That is how to take the people along with us to achieve the targets and goals. And
Very
for
good.
which you should have the listening and team leading capacity or team goer capacity, and he has to inculcate this what is that discipline skills to the followers, and
Very good.
this kind of listening and communication is the main, and our creating the successful path and awareness creating among them. Yes, we can go that positive attitude making, that is good.
Very good.
And negative
Very
things should be erased out. Yeah.
Okay, very good, Uday Kumar. Really appreciate your sharing. And just for everybody, when somebody is speaking, if you want to see them on the full screen, you can select the speaker mode, and then you'll be able to see them on the full screen instead of a small little bullet point here, okay? But Uday Kumar, thank you. And thank you for turning your video on. Somebody else, what is high impact leadership for you? What does it look like? And what are the skills and competencies that are required to be such a leader?
Ferdi, this is
Yes.
Kalindi from Pune.
Kalindi, thank you.
Yeah, what comes to my mind is, a few words which describe it. One is collective.
Collective, very good.
Ownership.
Ownership, very great.
and equanimity.
Equanimity. That means calmness. Sign of just being calm is what you mean?
Yes, calm, peaceful, happy.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I got it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I got it. By the way, for some of you who don't want to speak up, you can put it on the chat, okay? Your answers to these questions, and my colleagues will kind of read them out to you. Very good. Somebody else? Thank you so much, Kalindi,
Thank you.
for stepping in. Somebody else?
Hi, this is
Hi.
Reshma here. I think
Yes,
the previous speakers have covered most of the attributes, but I think there's one more critical point, which is critical thinking and strategic thinking, because that's very important for a leader to assess the situation and make quick decisions with the ambiguity which is available in this in that particular circumstances. So that's one more attribute that I would like to add.
Very good. Great. Reshma, thank you.
Yeah, this is Pradeep here.
Yeah,
See,
Pradeep.
For me, the leader is who create leaders and not followers
Right.
by example and takes the team along.
Right. Great, great, Pradeep. Thank you. Somebody else? Let's have as many of you speak up. That'll be great.
Okay, I am Manoj from Bangalore.
Yeah, Manoj.
And for me, a great leader has to balance the strategic and the tactical.
Okay, very good.
And within the two elements of strategic and tactical, they have to balance the people, the product or service, and the processes.
Very good.
Three elements of people, product, and service. Processes have all, you need to pay attention to all three. And you need to, in each of the three, you need to divide it into strategic and tactical. And as the speaker said before, leadership is all about developing leaders.
Okay, fantastic.
With those elements in mind.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, if we can add, if I can put a focus more on the third question I asked you, which was what are the skills and competencies that are required? But really, I don't think I put it on the screen, but what I meant was, what do you need to develop? What do you think you need to develop in order to improve your skill and your competency in being a high impact leader? So this is like turning the beam of attention onto yourself to see, obviously you have your strengths, but we're actually now focusing on what are the development areas you see for yourself if you want to be a high impact leader. This is not directed to you, Manoj, but you're welcome to answer. This is for everybody.
Yeah. So as already said, the first thing is always listen. Too few leaders listen because leaders always considered to be competent and experienced, and you need to always give solutions, but that is not the case. You need to, if you listen to the people, you get a collaborative growth and involved growth. People get committed when their ideas are listened to.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. And that's starting to become more and more evident, at least more and more people are acknowledging that leaders think that they shouldn't listen, they should just speak. And really, there should be more listening, less speaking. We have 2 ears and only one mouth. So it'll be smarter if we did it that proportion at least.
Ego to eco.
Ego to Kalindi, yeah. You're saying we should shift from, by ego, you mean silo thinking, right? Shift from me, mine, ours,
me, myself, yeah.
To actually looking on a larger scale, and eco would be on a total worldwide scale. I really would like somebody, I don't know whether you can read Manoj or somebody else. SK, can you just read out what people have said about leadership?
Yeah, Uday Kumar Venkata has written that collecting information, analyzing, judgment, and then implementation.
Right.
He also wrote earlier that skills are listening, developing listening capability, oration, dedication, and ownership.
Right.
Joel Prost says that high impact leaders should be a visionary and can positively create impact to people in the attainment of desired results.
Right.
And Joseph Daniel says a high impact leader must have an must listen empathetically and to their staff and willingness to teach or guide them to achieve a certain goal.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, great, great. And you're welcome to keep adding to it because that is shared by everyone and people can read and get your input. So now what I want to do is I want to ask you another question, right? What would it be like for you? You're here with this whole conversation on high impact leadership. What would it be like for you if you knew that you could be deeply connected to the various stakeholders in your organization and in your life? You could be deeply connected to them. What do I mean by stakeholders? Well, your suppliers, your employees, your team members, your bosses, your husband, your wife, your children, the various stakeholders in your life. If you knew that you could be deeply connected to them, you may not yet be deeply connected to them, but you could see a pathway to do that. What would that be like for you? Just to think about it. You don't have to answer it, but just to think about it. When you look at collaboration, right? And some of you said a high impact leader needs to be able to collaborate. When you look at collaboration, you can see that it is possible for you. It is possible for you to collaborate. Why? Because you have the knowledge, the skills, and the competencies to do that. And also, you can also see that what skills and knowledge you don't have, you can get it. What competency you don't have, you can go get it. And if you did, then you could be able to collaborate. And that would make a huge difference in your leadership. And then if you're inspired by who you are, so if you look at yourself and you're inspired by who you are and what your life is about, you have a clarity of mind about your vision and your intention. Not just the vision and intention of your organization or your company. Personally, you have a clarity of mind about your vision and intention. What if, when you look ahead, you can see a pathway, there is a pathway for you to move forward and fulfill on all these things? And what if you actually saw or realized that, hey, this is possible not just for me, but for all human beings? So what if this happened, right? What would it be like for you? So let's see if I can get some input from you on this. So what would it be like if that was the case, right? If you knew that you could be deeply connected to the various stakeholders in your life. If we look at the issues we have, somebody said, who was it, the Kalindi, right? We need to shift from ego or limited to eco. What stops us is we don't realize we are already connected, and we don't see the connection with other people. And when we don't see the connection with other people, how can we collaborate with them? And if we got these doubts about who we are and what are we up to and what is life about, then the whole thing's not worth it, right? You might as well, who are you leading and where are you leading people? So, questions? More than questions, I like some statements. What do you have to say about that? Shall I stop the sharing so I can see everybody? Yeah. So anything for you to say about this? Would it be good if you got those Do you think you already have it and you don't need it and other people should have it and you're happy to give it to them? Do you see that you need some development too, and it'd be great to be able to develop yourself and then empower yourself to make a difference to others? How does this land for you?
It is true that even in this wireless world, this is the most important connection.
Yes.
Connection between people. So whether
Yes.
it's your own people or your customers or your vendors, everything works on relationships.
Mm.
So if you are competing, and you are competing with other companies for whatever business you are doing, if you take it that in an equal playing field where competition is more or less equal to you, the relationship makes the difference to success.
Very good. And you know, competition has become the buzzword. It's all about competing, competing, competing. And to compete, there has to be winners and losers. There are some winners and there are some losers. What if we replace the word competition with collaboration? Then what would happen? Would we need winners and losers? Can we all be winners? If you look at the International Space Station, it's a collaborative thing. Now, China, of course, is putting up its own space station. That's not collaborative. But the International Space Station has got what, 19, 20 countries have worked together to create that International Space Station. There's the vaccines have been a function of a lot of collaboration between different parties and different places. So the world is shifting from competition. And competition, the focus of competition has really been productivity. So if I can own everything, then I can produce the most and I can win over you. But instead of that, there is an expansion from ego to eco, from me, mine, let's keep it down here, to actually sharing and collaborating and co-creating. And a different mode. And if you look at the world today, that is what is required, isn't it? So thank you so much, Manoj. Somebody else? I'd like to have people who
Yeah,
haven't said anything say something.
yeah. What Boroji has told is correct, because I have seen few entrepreneurs, maybe 3 to 4 entrepreneurs have started the same product industry, but they
Right.
couldn't achieve that product approval for selling to the grid. That is, it is electricity generation.
Right.
When because of competition, they become they are keeping a distance. They didn't move together. So once they felt, and some people like you people have told, they all collaborated together and they met the ministry, power or natural gas or coal, and they achieved the selling agreement, at least partially of their capacity, and they
Yes.
started moving the business and taking care of the employees as well as their asset, giving some return. Initially,
Yes.
they didn't. They were in competition. Then they have become collaboration or cooperating or collaborating mode platform. I have seen this. Please,
Right.
just
Very good. Very good.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe in schools and colleges and the games we play, we can have more collaborative games rather than more competitive games. So anyway, that's let me just look at what else I want to share with you. So now why I put these points here, because in the program that we conduct, Leadership from the Emerging Future, you will actually get all this. You will expand and deepen profoundly your connection with different people. You will be able to collaborate, and you will see, you will have the knowledge, the skills, and the competencies to do this. And as you practice more and more, they'll become better and better for you. You'll actually take a moment to look at who are you and what your life is about. So you have a clarity of mind about your vision and intention. So you'll be able to see that there is a pathway for you to move forward and fulfill on this. And not only that, because we are focused on eco, we are focused on a new civilization, you will see that this is possible for all human beings. So let me tell you a little bit about, we'll do a little exercise before that, but before that, let me tell you, hold on a minute. Yeah, sorry. Let me tell you about Theory U. So what we're working on is leadership from the emerging future. And leadership from the, let me stop the sharing and talk for a bit. We're talking about a kind of leadership which is from the emerging future. What does that mean? Most of us, when we are looking to see what we are going to do and what is going to happen in the future, where do we look? Where do we look? It's okay for you to say the wrong answer, you know. Where do we look? Obviously, we look into the past, don't we? We look at the past and then we project that into the future and we say, oh, that is going to be the future. That's what's going to happen in the future. So that's the way all of us do it. And that's what education is all about. Education is all about learning what someone else has learned and doing what someone else has done. So what if you could learn, another way of saying that, if we just learn from the past, are there any solutions available to the COVID problem we have right now? Are there any solutions available to the climate change problem that we're dealing with right now? Do you think the past will give us the solution? Like, frankly, do you think the past will give us the solution? In my view, no, you're not going to get any of those solutions from the past, because these problems that we are facing today and these challenges that we are facing today have never been experienced and seen in the past. Well, something similar may have happened in the past, but not exactly. And so we are unlikely to get solutions based on the past. Then where are solutions going to come from? They're going to have to come from, they're going to have to be created. They're going to have to be creative solutions, solutions that have never happened before. And we'll have to look into our creativity and our innovation and to create those solutions. So the kind of leader that we need today is not a kind of leader who has a lot of knowledge and then can apply that knowledge. We need a kind of leader that has sufficient knowledge, but more than knowledge, they are able to inquire, they are able to think, they are able to be innovative. Number one. Number two, we need the kind of leader that can get a whole lot of people together, because one person by themselves cannot come up with enough ideas. But when you get other people and people are collaborating and people feel free to collaborate, as Manoj just said, there is a situation where somebody can contribute and other people listen. So when you get that environment where people are contributing and it's okay for them to contribute, then the leader is happy for them to contribute, because he or she doesn't have to have all the answers. We have that kind of leadership that helps in new ideas coming forth. And also, if you can actually create the group to be such that the group can look creatively into the future and see solutions from the future. That's what Theory U does. It trains you to learn from the future as it is emerging. There is a future that is emerging. We can resist it. You know, some of the CEOs are still resisting work from home. They're saying, no, come back to the office. We got to work from the office because we know how to work from the office, and everybody should come back. And all those shops and stores that are serving the people who are coming to the office, what will they do? Well, the people are saying, we've tried working from home and it seems to be working for us. We prefer to stay and work from home. Now you got to find a solution. So the solutions that have to be worked out are solutions that haven't been created yet and need to be created. So you need a different kind of capacity, a different kind of competency, a competency where you have the space to allow other people to contribute, not be the sole person in charge, old style leadership, kind of leadership where you are the leader, and because you are the leader, you got the authority to create the environment where people can come in and contribute, and people feel free to do that. You're a leader who can create those kinds of environments. So I'm going to take you, instead of talking theory now, let's actually look at some practical work. I want to do some practical work with you. And for that, I really do request your participation, okay? Now, if you look at this, right, one of the things that people said was that listening was a key skill, right? Said listening was a key skill. So I want to take you through the slide. So all of you have been listening since we started, right? And might I suggest that when we listen generally, we are listening to reconfirm what we know, to reconfirm our old opinions and judgments. That's what we're listening for. That's generally how we're listening for. And in Theory U, in our work, we call this is what Otto Scharmer calls downloading. That is from habit. And what we're doing is we are projecting. We're projecting what? The past into the future. So I'd like you to imagine that you are in a circular room with windows all around. You can see out of those windows. But somebody has drawn the curtains all around the windows. And in the center of the room, there is a projector that is projecting videos. And what is it projecting? It's projecting videos from your past, opinions, judgments, assessments. So when you're looking all around you, what you're seeing is the past again and again. Now that's what some people call the Google algorithm. You know, you put something, you search for something on Google, and then suddenly if you look, every time anything that has to do with that comes up. So you get trapped inside of that particular mode. So consider that we're all trapped inside. You see the circle over here? The red dot, that's me. And then a circle all around it is the boundary of my world. And what we're doing is projecting. That's projection. Projection of what? All the videos that have been downloaded and put on the screen. So all we are seeing is reconfirmation of old opinions and judgments. Is there anybody who doesn't agree with me on that? That is generally the case. It's not the only case, but that is generally the case. Would you agree? If you don't speak loudly, then I will assume that you do, okay? And I'm going to move on. So, you know, that's generally the case. Now, therefore, are we seeing reality? When we look at people, we look at the people that we're engaged with, the people we like, the people we don't like, our family members, our children, our partner, wife, husband, boss, colleague, supplier. Are we looking at reality, or are we just reconfirming old opinions and judgments? Okay, bear with me and assume that you are just reconfirming old judgments and opinions. Okay, now what would happen? That's what we call listening one. That's the level of listening that a default, that's the default level of listening, and it's called downloading. Now imagine you walk to the side of the room and you go to the window and you draw the curtain aside and look out. Go to the window and watch what is going on outside. What is happening now? You are watching, sensing, looking with an open mind. And what you'll see is a factual view. You'll see the factual world. And what you'll notice that there is data that invalidates your opinions. It doesn't fit with your opinions. You will notice new data. So that's being able to open your mind. Can you see that if you could open your mind? Can you see areas where your mind is not open? I can see it. I don't like certain people. My mind is not open about them. They are like that. They never will be different. So that's called closed mind. Can I open my mind to them? Well, I don't know about you, but I can see some people, I find it very difficult to open my mind to them because they're just like that. They're never going to change. Some other people, they might change. So what if you could be with an open mind? What would you need to do to open your mind? You would need to park the downloading, set aside the download, put it aside for a moment and look with an open mind, see with an open mind, think with an open mind, and be open to welcoming data, new data that disagrees with the old one, disagrees with the data you already have. So now you do have some capacity to do that. Do you think that you could expand your capacity to do that? And that if you expanded your capacity to do that, that would be useful for you in your leadership. You might be able to see things that are really happening rather than things that you think are happening. So that's the next level of listening, factual, open mind. And then we come, see, knowing the facts. I don't know about you, but in my relationship with my wife, I have the facts. I'm telling her the facts, but as far as I can see, she doesn't agree with it. She still doesn't agree with it. Why? Because decisions are not made based purely on facts. Decisions are made based on the heart as well. So you got to connect with the heart. So the third level of listening is called empathic listening, which is open heart. You're listening with an open heart. You actually get out of the room. You don't just look out of the window. You get out of the room and walk to where the other person is. And you stand in their shoes and you look. And what do you look at? You look at yourself in that room and look at how you're behaving and how you're approaching. And you start to see yourself in a totally different light. You see yourself inside your system. And also that helps you to see your own system. So that's open heart. And the last one is open will, generative, from the source. This one, you actually, as a leader, very, very important skill. That is the skill of being able to connect to an emerging future possibility and our real self, not only of ourselves, but also of others, connecting with an emerging future possibility of other people and who they really are. And they may not really know that, but you can start to see it, smell it, sense it, and you can actually connect them to their own future possibility. And you can connect to your own future possibility. This kind of listening creates a holding space for creative breakthrough. So it's one of the things we deal with. We've got a lot of tools in the program. And one of the tools is to recognize when you're doing this, when you're downloading from your habits, to be able to put your habits aside, have a practice to be able to put your habits aside, open your mind and see what you see, to be able to empathically connect with another. What will you need to do that? And then to be able to see something beyond the past, beyond what people have been in the future that's there. So I'm just going to stop the sharing now because now we need to talk, okay? So what are you getting out of this? Please do share and please turn your camera on if you can and tell me what are you getting out of it and How does this land for you? People who haven't shared yet, right? Because it'll be good to get diverse opinions, diverse ideas. Yeah, Munish, how about you? You have to turn your microphone on, I'm afraid.
I'm Vivek. What is expected is thinking out of box or innovative. When you go with innovative or out of box thinking, that doesn't come or arise when you go into the history and as well as in a closed thinking. So if you have to come out, means it is out of box thinking, not as people, everybody thinks. Yeah.
It is, Uday Kumar, and everybody knows that, right? Everybody's heard about the box and everybody's heard about outer box. The problem is people hardly ever get out of the box. So
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
That is the
problem. Right now, what I like is some more people speaking, because I really appreciate your speaking and Manoj is speaking, but I like some other people speaking as well, so we get a diversity of opinions. So Manish, you were about to say something, right?
Sure, sir. We will welcome everybody. We welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Manish, how does it land for you? You turned your video off. You have to turn your audio on. Oh. Okay, while Manish is working things out, somebody else, what do you get? What are you getting? How's this landing for you? Joseph, anything for you? How's this landing for you? You have to turn your audio on, Joseph, to answer, if you're going to answer. All right. So we got two people who are talking, Manoj and Uday Kumar. We need more, so somebody else. Well, how does this land for you? Somebody else, please. LBP, Joel, or, Sri Chand, or Kenny Turner, or Dana May, or Professor K.M. Mehata. Let's hear you speak, please. Remember, this is not a webinar. I'm not giving you a broadcast. I might as well give you a video and ask you to watch it. This is more interactive. The value
Ferdi, can I just appreciate the example you gave of the round room with covered windows and then opening the windows. I like it.
Right. You like it? Great, great, very good. Somebody else? Okay, so now
well, for me, I think it's a bit difficult to picture it. I think it maybe would help if we go through a couple of real examples of what it would be, each type of it, because I think for me, definitely, I would see two types of listening, more like active listening and just listening, I would guess. But I would assume that active listening is always without preconceptions. And I think for me, it's a bit difficult to picture this in like a real situation. I think maybe work wise would be interesting if you have a couple of examples to share with us.
Yeah. Can I work with you on it?
Yeah, sure.
Can you turn your video on, you think?
Yes, I'll turn my video on.
So
It's just the connection sometimes is not so good, so that's why.
Don't worry about it. Everybody has the same problem. Eleanor, thank you for that question. That's a very good question. The first thing is, you see, you're looking at what I'm saying from what you know, which is normal listening and active listening. And so it becomes difficult for you to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That is what I call downloading. So you have a downloading called active listening and non-active listening. Now, can you just put that downloading aside? It's like you're in a circular room, right? And there's downloading going on, active, non-active. Put that aside means you go to the window and draw the curtain and look outside, right? So let's look at some other kind of downloading that you might have. Do you have challenging relationships with certain people?
Yeah.
Right. So you don't need to tell me who it is, but if you look at one of them, right, you
Mm-hmm.
notice that when you look at that person, you see them through your old judgments and opinions and assessments.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult for you to think outside of that. That's what my friend calls thinking inside a box. Find it difficult
Mm-hmm.
to think outside of that. So now, if I asked you to put that aside for a moment with that person, right? And
Mm-hmm.
asked you, so I presume that this is a negative relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elena? Okay.
Yeah.
So if I asked you to look through the window and tell me one good thing about the guy, is it a guy or a girl?
It's a girl.
It's a girl. Okay, tell me one good thing about that person. A factual thing.
A factual thing. She's strong.
She's strong. Okay, she has strength. And you admire her for her strength?
Yeah.
Okay, is there something else you admire about her?
Mm, yeah, her resilience.
Resilience. She's strong,
Yeah.
she's resilient. Yeah, very good. How is she with people?
Very direct.
Very direct, and which is what you find difficult, right?
Yeah.
Very direct, yeah. And you wish she were less direct. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be better for her if she were less, but she cannot be less. By the way, is she Dutch?
Yeah.
Dutch people are very direct. No, that's my downloading. Okay, so you need to put that aside. So, but now,
Well, you know, I
now,
live in Belgium, so yeah.
right, right. So now, when you look at her now, right? Now that you've seen two positive things about her, is she looking slightly different to you?
Maybe a bit.
A bit, right? And we haven't
Yeah.
spent enough time on this, but if we have an exercise, which if you did the program, it's called an empathy walk.
Mm-hmm.
What we ask participants to do is to go and meet somebody who is totally different from them, maybe unknown quantity, like a refugee or something, or somebody they don't like at all, or whatever. Mostly don't like is difficult to do, but somebody you don't know enough of, right? And you sit down and spend half an hour with that person. And what you're really doing, there's no agenda. What you're really doing is finding out about them. Where do they live? Where did they come from? How did they grow up? Who's in their family? You know, you're just kind of getting to know them. And in the process, they will ask you questions and they'll get to know you. So we call that an empathy walk. That empathy walk deepens the bond of relationship, and you get to know more about that person than you
But
had
I guess
before.
like both people need to be in the same mindset. If only
Mm.
one of the persons that is in empathy work mindset, then the other one would be taking advantage of the relationship.
Now, just now what you said, right? Can you see that that was your downloading?
Yeah, I guess.
So you see the downloading we have limits what we can do or what we can think of or how we can behave. There's a limitation. I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, obviously you got enough evidence to prove it, but maybe if you let go of it, you could try it out and experiment with something.
Mhm.
We have done it a lot. We have done it a lot. And, you know, we don't find that to be the problem. People really want to be connected to each other. At the bottom of it, they're connected to each other, but they've got all these stories and downloading in the way that stops them from engaging, even with the people we love very much. Even with the people who we fell in love with and pulled into our life, now we've got a barrier, right? And we're
Yeah.
pushing them away. So the same thing. So does that give you an example of what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so there is downloading. You put that aside. It's possible for you to get some new facts about the person, but we're asking you to go beyond that, to get connected with that person at an emotional level And you'll see that there are some things that you both feel similarly about. You both think similarly about. So did I answer your question about some
Yeah.
examples?
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you asking me that. Very good. Somebody else? Questions that you have or something you want to share or how it lands for you? And remember, the more people share, that's the whole thing, right? Sharing. The more people share, the more real it becomes. And for that, people have to take a risk. And I'm inviting you to take a risk and share. So Elena has been willing to risk stuff, and Vivek Kumar has been willing to risk stuff, and Mona. And the other people who shared have been willing to risk stuff. So how about you? How's this landing for you? Don't worry, you're not stuck. We won't force you to do the program then. We just want to know how this lands on you. Okay, let me add another dimension to this. Okay, what we talked about was listening, right? Now we want to talk about how many of you attend a lot of meetings in at your work. You got meetings, you go from one meeting to the other meeting to the other. Raise your hands if you right, or you'll have to, if you don't want to show me your face, then you got to do the thumbs up so I can see. Thank you, Uday Kumar. How many if you go for lots of meetings? Yeah, Elena, somebody else, put your thumbs up if you go for lots of meetings during the day. If I know anything about people at work, yes, Professor Mehta, you go from one meeting to the other meeting, to the other meeting, to the other meeting. And so now, thank you very much. You can disconnect them. So now I want to talk about something that happens at these meetings, right? We found from our research, and this is done by Dr. Otto Scharmer of MIT. This work is taken from MIT's U theory, the theory of the U from MIT, and he's done this work. And we've done it for the last 5 years. So we got practical experience from the last 5 years. So when you are in a meeting, there are generally 4 fields. A field is like a magnetic field. You take a sheet of paper, put a magnet underneath it, and put iron filings, right? What happens to the iron filings? They will shape themselves along the lines of the magnetic field, right? So that's a field. That's what I mean by field. A field shapes something. So in a meeting, generally in organizations, there are 4 different fields of conversation. One field is the field where, let me see whether I got a screen share on this. Maybe not, hold on. Yeah, so here's the thing. One of the fields, the first field is what's talking nice. And that can map onto downloading, topic nice. It is where people are speaking from what other people want to hear. So it ends up with polite routines, empty phrases, and it's all about conforming. Don't rock the boat. Don't stick your neck out doing that. So tell me, and once again, put your thumbs up so I know how many of you have had an experience of either being in one of those or being in that field. Just put your thumb up so I can see that that's what happened. Yeah, very good. Somebody else. Manoj is somebody else. Elena, right, Manj. Have you found yourself in meetings in that kind of situation where nobody's speaking the truth? Kenny Turner and LTB, LTFP, right? Come on, the rest of you can put your thumb up. You're not putting a video on. You can make an opinion. Otherwise, you are in field 1. You don't want to rock the boat yourself. Professor K.M. Mehta, Srinivasan, Kalindi, right? And LPP Joel. Yeah. So we do find ourselves in that field. Now, when you're in that field, how does it feel? When people are not speaking their mind, can you speak your mind then? Yes, no? Tell me.
No.
No, you can't. You can't speak your mind, right? Because no one else is doing it. So you get suppressed by that. So people are suppressed in those kind of environments. No new ideas come out. I think somebody's machinery has started. Right. So that's the first field. Now, can you see that a lot of time in organizations and meeting is spent in this kind of field where there's not much communication, not much energy, people are just conforming and all that kind of thing. Now, the next field is more energetic. Let's have a look at what it is. It's debating or talking tough. So now people are not, they are speaking their point of view. They are speaking from what they think. They're not speaking from what others want to hear, but they're speaking from what they think. And so you hear divergent views. However, people get stuck in their point of view. And it's either my way or the highway. So you become your point of view. People become their point of view. And instead of conforming, you end up with confronting. People are saying what they think, which is a very positive thing. You get diversity, which is very positive, but you also get people stuck to their point of view. So there is no listening in this. There is only speaking. No one's listening to the other person. If they are speaking, it doesn't make much sense to them. So that's debate or talking tough, right? And this is not so frequent as the first one, but still, I'd like to take a poll. So how many of you raise your thumbs up if you found yourself in this situation, either in a group or even with another person, where it's all about arguments and your point of view? Yeah, Joseph and Miriam and someone else. Yeah, Kenny, somebody else? Yeah, Shrikant, LTFRB, and Uday Kumar, very good. Mensch, very good. So there is this. Now, while there's more energy in this field, does it allow for people to speak? It doesn't, right? You are then you find the whole room is divided into two groups, those who are for this person and those are for that person. It's all binary. So neither of these are useful. Now, as a leader, you don't want the first kind of field, do you? Where people are all conforming, no one's speaking the truth, they're not telling you what they think. You're not going to be able to take real good decisions that way. Now, you also don't want the second field, although the second field is preferable to the first field. You don't want people to be stuck to their point of view. So what do you really want? You want people to listen to other people's points of view. So that takes us to the next screen. To the next field of conversation, which is called dialogue. In dialogue, what is happening is reflection. It's a reflective inquiry. So people speak their point of view. They don't let go of their point of view, but they're also willing to listen to other people's points of view. So people start speaking for seeing themselves as part of the whole. And it moves from defending to inquiry into viewpoints. That's what you think. Okay, why do you think that way? Tell me why you think that way. And we are willing to listen to what they have to say. We don't agree, but we're willing to listen. Then we say, oh yeah, I get it. That's why you think that. Let me tell you why I think the way I think. And then they say what they want to say. Now, can you see there's a dialogue now? And for a leader, it is very powerful and very impactful if they can generate a field of dialogue in their team meetings, in their teams, and with their groups. And what happens is you move from defending to inquiring into viewpoints, and it leads to connection and reflecting on your part. And then when you do that enough, you drop into the fourth level. In the fourth level, there is collective creativity, there is generative flow. What happens is somebody gives an idea. Other people have been listening and someone else says, that is good. That is good. What if you added this little bit to it? What would it do to it? And they examine what happens if you add this new bit to it. And then someone else said, that is really good. Now you add this third bit to it and see what happens. And now suddenly there is collective creativity. There is generative flow, and people are speaking from what is moving through. There is stillness, there's presence, there's full flow, there's co-creating, and you end up shifting your identity and getting in touch with your authentic self. So that's a skill and a competency that is very important for a leadership from the emerging future, for a leader of the emerging future, and to be a high impact leader. So does it speak to you? Anything you want to say? Any questions you have to ask? And definitely questions are good. Any questions you have to ask? You know, Ellen asked that question that was really useful. Somebody else about this fields of conversation. Anything you want to say? Yeah.
Well, I think there is like a cultural element added to this, right? Like, I come from Spain, where we have a culture that is, we are not taught to think out loud. Like, classes for students are very much like the teacher listens, the teacher speaks, the student listen, and nobody really raises their hands or talk about it. Um, Now I live in Belgium for 5 years, and the culture here is a lot more. People are taught to think out loud. And I think one of the problems, like in Spain, the society is very much divided into two ways of thinking. You are either more progressive or you're more conservative, and it's not really welcomed when someone thinks different.
Mhm.
You're already prejudged,
Yes.
while I see here in Belgium that people are a lot more encouraged. For example, in my company, we are very well encouraged to think out loud and to talk about how you're feeling or what you think, and it's not felt as an attack when somebody says, I actually don't agree with you because of XYZ. So I think there is a cultural aspect to it, which, yeah, which it's, I think it's a little bit that you need to work on it little by little, or like try to maybe be conscious that the other person might be taking your disagreement as a thread, let's say, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's good, Elena. Somebody else, what do you think about what Ellen is saying? Or what I said? Thank you for sharing, Elena. Somebody else? Om, Fatima, Monabala, Amelia de la Cruz, Pramod Pandya, Natavat. Come on, guys. Let's hear you speak. Find your voice. Don't be at level 1, feel the conversation. At least be at level 2 and argue. Or at level 3 in dialogue.
I just want to like ask a query in it. Like we talk about all this level of listening and all that, right? Or the stages kind. But is it like the situations or like what you handle? Because it can't be the same thing every time. You may not handle the same kind of situations. It can it may be some transactional things can happen in a meeting, or it can be about a discussion about the vision itself probably. So it depends on that. We have to
Well, remember,
this,
Srinivasan, remember
yeah.
the context of this conversation. The context of this conversation is your leadership,
Okay.
right? So if you look at it from your leadership, you being a high impact leader, right?
Okay.
What can you see then from that perspective?
When I look at from that perspective, then it is like, yeah, I see that we have to take the context into the situation, and then like handle the thing so that the best can come out of it. That's how I think so.
Yeah, and as a leader, which one would you like, which field would you like to create in your team Field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, which one?
Okay, so in general, environment has to be on the field for so that like if there is a discussion happen so that people can participate and give solution. But there are certain times like it can also be about the field 2 or the field 1 also kind, because
Why? Why would it need to be field 1 or field 2? In which situation is that a necessity?
if it is about like a call to put probably like put a coffee machine in the office, like just like where it has to be put, like we don't have to discuss too much about it, right? Like it's a
Yeah, but
call.
why spend leadership time on that? Talk about the
Yeah.
things leaders spend their time on, the high impact areas. Talk to me about that.
Okay.
About that, in the high impact areas, which fields are going to make the biggest difference for you as a leader? You're going to be a high impact leader. You're going to have an impact. If you're going to
It
have
is
an
then
impact,
level 4. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, level 4 is very, very difficult to reach. Actually, level 3 is what you start with. You start
Okay.
creating level 3, and when you create level 3 in your team sufficiently, it drops
Okay.
into level 4. But let's look at level 3, Srinivasan, okay?
Sure.
What is the element of level 3?
When you say
It's called,
element, like what is that you're trying to
well,
ask
it's
or
called
something?
dialogue, right? It's
Yeah,
called
that's right.
dialogue.
Yeah.
So the element is dialogue. So now
Yeah.
what is dialogue made up of?
Dialogue is about like someone in the team openly talking about what they view about it, so and then tell their point of view so that like we can understand, and then like either I have a different point of view, then I give my point of view, and then there's a discussion happens on that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there is an interaction. There's a dialogue
Interaction. Yeah.
about the different points of view. There are
Yeah.
different points of view, but there's a dialogue and interaction about the different points of view, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So as a leader, if you could become skillful at generating dialogue,
Mhm.
you think that'll be useful for you?
That's right. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
it would,
Like
right?
it
Yeah.
depends on like what kind of a question I or the kind of reaction
Doesn't
I give it.
depend
It
on
makes.
anything. In any place in the world, dialogue makes the biggest difference. Come on,
Yeah.
Srinivasan. What do you
That's
mean
right. Yeah.
depends on the situation?
Uh.
Dialogue is
Yeah. Yeah.
I will speak my mind, but I won't close my ears and I will listen to you. And you
Sure.
will speak your mind because I'm listening to you and you will listen to me. That's dialogue. If as a leader, I can generate dialogue in an interaction in my team, in a place where I am in, it makes me an extraordinary leader, does it not?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that that requires certain skills. And one of the most important skills it requires is listening. Remember the first slide, the 4 levels of listening,
Yeah.
being able to put aside my downloading, being able to open my mind so I can see the facts, then being able to open my heart so I can connect with this person who's got a point of view that's different from mine, engage with them. Okay,
Okay.
so those are the skills and abilities that are important. So now let me go back to the first slide, not my first slide, but let me go back to this where I asked you, what would it be like for you, right?
Yeah.
I
That's right.
said,
Yeah.
what would it be like for you if you knew you could be deeply connected to the various stakeholders in your life, in your team members, other people, your clients, your suppliers?
Mhm.
What would it be like for you if when you look at collaboration, you can see that it's possible for you because you have the knowledge, the skills, the competencies, the experience of doing that. And really, we haven't addressed the point number 3, where you really know who you are and you can see a pathway for you to fulfill on it, and that these things are possible for all human beings. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So having said that, now, thank you, Srinivasan. I really appreciate you participating with us. I this is the first group I've been engaged with where most people have been at level 1 Let's not rock the boat. So everybody turn our videos off, because there are very few people whose videos are on. If we put our videos on, then what will happen to us? We'll get burned in a fire. No, you won't. And more than that, don't give me the story called everybody's internet doesn't work. I've done this program with so many people from many, many different parts of India and the world, and their internet works sufficiently that you can turn it on and we can see you. But no one's going to force you to do that. It's all right not to do that. It just makes it a little bit one-sided for me, because you can see me, I can't see you, and so you're a secret agent, and I don't know who I'm talking to. All right, Srinivasan, do you think you can just show me your face so I can see you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just be lovely. Ah, there you are. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. Amelia de la Cruz, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So now, I want to now talk about the program, right? I was introducing you to leadership from the emerging future. I'll take you once again to my slide. Let me see whether I can, stop the sharing, sorry. As you can see, I'm an ancient man and I'm not very used to this technology business. So you're gonna have to bear with me while I struggle with this, okay? Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, there you go. So now, am I sharing this? No, I don't think I am yet, right? So here we are. Okay, you can see this, right?
Yes, Ferdi.
Right. So now here's, you see, this is a U. Can you see it's a U, a yellow U with a blue dot in the middle? So this is the U theory. In the U theory, it's all about stepping, as it says here, stepping into the field of the future. So there is this guy here. It could be you, could be me, could be us. And you want to step across this chasm. There are two mountains, there's a big chasm in between. You can't just step across to the other side. So how do you do that? This is the pathway for moving from where you are now to the future. So let me introduce you and take you down the path. So first thing you have to do is what I did in the exercise for you. You notice you're downloading past patterns and you put it aside. Then you suspend them, put that aside, suspending them, and you start seeing with fresh eyes. Then you redirect, open your heart, connect your heart, you start sensing from the field. Then what you need to do is one of the most difficult things to do, let go. Let go of what? The past. Beliefs, opinions, and assessments, because what you want to do is you want a new future to come in. You cannot have the new future coming in until you let go of the past. And once you let go of the past, you can go through the blue dot. That's called the eye of the needle. The eye of the needle is a historical reference where during the days of the what do you call them? Trade routes, when trade used to go on camels and all that through, and they carried all the goods through, the trade route passed through Jerusalem. And old Jerusalem, the roads became narrower and narrower, and there was a place in Jerusalem called the Eye of the Needle. The Eye of the Needle was a narrow gate that the caravans used to go through. And to go through that gate, they had to unload the camels, have the camels go through the gate. Then on the other side, they load the camels again. So that's the metaphor of letting go. You let go through the gate of Jerusalem, go through the eye of the needle, and then you let come. You get through to the other side. So this blue dot, one of the things we'll do in the program, which I'm inviting you to participate in, is you'll practice all these steps on the left, and you'll go through the eye of the needle, and you'll have an opportunity to let come the future that's wanting to emerge around you. And then this part we don't do in that program, but it's possible to do, which is now when you've got this new future, the idea comes at you only amorphously. You need to crystallize it. So then you go to crystallizing your vision and intention, make it crystal. And then you have to make it real. And the way you realize it, make it realize it, it's actually realize it, make it real, is by prototyping. That is, you create tiny little prototypes of what you want to create and you try it out, send it out to the customers and people, and you get feedback and see what happens. Then you change, then you do it back again, then you get feedback, then you change. It's called iteration. And that whole process is called prototyping. And when you're prototyping, you're actually linking your head, your heart, and your hand. Mostly we only work with our head. There's not much emotional connection and not much inspiration, not much sense of wonder. Here you actually do it all using all three, your head, your heart, and your hand. And you do it until you've got a model or a maquette that really works, and then you can take it to scale. So leadership from the emerging future is about training you in these skills, the skills of suspending your downloading, recognizing your downloading, suspending them, then opening your mind, opening your heart, opening your will, and then crystallizing, prototyping, and learning how to take things to scale. So that, in an essence, is the program. Now, in the program, we have 2 days, 24th and 25th of July is one, and there's one in August. 24th and 25th of July is really meant for corporates and corporations. So if you work in a company, then you can come and participate in it. If you can bring your team along, that will be really great. And you'll do exercises on empathy walks, stakeholder interviews, recognizing these fields of conversation and engaging with them, shifting from just conforming to actually arguing, to dialogue, to creating something. You do that in practice over the 2 days. And at the end of the 2 days, we take you through this eye of the needle. And then we have 6 evening sessions that follow, which help you to put this more solidly in your life, because 2 days is too small a time. You really got to experiment with it. So it'll be another 6 weeks after that, where 2 hours a day, 2 hours a week, you will actually get together and you'll examine it and tell people what happened and the experiments and what happened and all that. So that's what happens. We don't do this part in that program because this requires you to have grounding on the left side first, left-hand side first, and then you take on a project. And we can also have an advanced course where we can support you in taking those projects and fulfilling them in reality. So I'm going to stop now and open it up to questions about the program we're offering you. So anything, any questions? No, of course, no one will say anything, but you can write it in the chat. That's all right. So.
So I wanted to ask something.
Sure.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mona.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask that is this program for the corporates or even the individuals are going to get benefited from it?
Yeah. The individuals too. It's just that we have another course in August. The course in August is meant for everybody. What we find is that when we have a general course meant for everybody, we have all walks of life, different levels of thinking, some people are not very familiar with English, so we have to do a little bit of English and other things. In the corporate program, we expect that the people who will engage in it will have a certain level of thinking, certain level of exposure to life, certain level of being able to engage in things. And some of the issues we're talking about, if somebody's just a housewife, there's no point. They don't have much to say about meetings. They don't have many meetings. Or maybe they do, but they don't have many. So it's like that. And there's a price differential. The one for the corporates costs £350. That's about, I don't know what it is in rupees, SK. What is it?
35,000 tax.
35 plus tax, 35,000 plus tax. And then the one for the general public in August is
7th
25.
and 8th August.
7th and 8th of August is 25,000 plus tax, or £250. Okay. So why it's in pounds is because I live in the UK, and I'm organizing it partly through my company. So did that answer your question, Manobala?
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And I would recommend you people to come in for the regular course. Don't worry about you need to pay a little extra money, but if your company can pay, that'll be even better. All right, somebody else?
Huh?
It will be done online, right? This on Zoom, okay? It works really well. Now, how do you register? You can register, I think, is there a registration link?
Yeah, I just put both the course links in the chat.
Yeah.
Cohort 20 is the corporate one, which is starting on 24th, 25th July. If you click that and open the slide, last slide has the registration link. Same thing with cohort 21. To open it, go to the last slide, it has the registration link.
Right.
Both the links I have pasted in the chat. If you don't have it, you can't see it, give me your name, I will send it to you. Or I'm going to write down my WhatsApp number. This is Manoj Onkar, and you can send me a message here. I'll send it to you if you need. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Manoj. Sorry, I thought you finished.
No, I was just saying, if anybody sends me a chat here itself on Google, sorry, on the Zoom, I can send you the link again right now. Over to you, Ferdi.
Lovely, lovely. Mona, you are the mother. You're a mother of.
Manoj, there is an issue that when you open that PDF, that file, the link does not get. You cannot click the link.
You can go to the last slide.
But it depends on which PDF you open, SK.
Both.
No, Manoj's PDF or mine?
No, the link which Manoj sent.
Manoj sent, okay.
Okay.
Manoj, just check it out and see what is the problem there.
Well,
Mona, you are the. Hey, let me just finish talking to Mona here.
Yes, sir.
Mona, you are the mother of Gavya?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Ah, he's participating in our course. He's really great.
Yeah.
It's lovely to have him in the program.
I really love the changes since I've seen him participating in your course.
Right.
And the tremendous changes I can see in him, and I'm actually enjoying the kind of growth, I can see as a mother. I mean, as a spectator, I've been watching many things. So I was a little reluctant, because I thought maybe at this age, if I can change something in my life, even I would love to do that.
Lovely,
so
lovely.
That is how, because he actually Nilesh sir and then my own son, both of them have inspired me a lot.
Lovely.
So,
It's really
of course,
great.
Nothing compares to Nilesh sir, but yes, Gavya, I've seen tremendous changes and all thanks to all three of you. Thank you so much. I'm rather, very thankful for all the changes I can see in him. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mona. And I'm hoping that you're going to come and join us too.
I am preparing myself because I really wanted, certain changes in my life. And I think I was a little reluctant thinking, the half of the life is already past. But then I thought, why not? Let me make the best of the rest, the rest which is left now.
Mona, how old do you think I am?
I guess somewhere near about 70.
Yeah,
69,
I'm
70.
70, going to be 71 this month.
Of course, Otto, you don't look like, but
my life is not over. My life is
exactly
hardly over.
See, this is what inspired me, because once Gabby was taking the session, I heard you talking about your age, And I was like, okay, sir, Ferdi sir is 70 plus, and if although he doesn't look like, but look at the kind of contribution he's making, and the kind of work he's doing. Maybe I can also work on those lines. That is how I got inspired. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. That's great. Great. We have Mensch Doikno here from Philippines. She's in her 70s, and she is a great leader in the Philippines. Life begins now, whatever your age is.
Right.
Good for you. Good for you. Thank you, Mona.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Somebody else? Any questions, comments, anything you want to know? I hope I gave you a taste of what the program is going to be like.
Yes.
Now, if people want to know more, what do they have to do, Manoj? SK, if they want to know more, what could they do?
One is, if you have any questions about how about this, how about that, anything you want to ask, you can ask those questions for you to participate. Anything on the logistics, anything about the program, anything about the challenges that you're dealing with, you think that it's relevant or not, those things, you could come across, so that you could have a clear idea before you leave this session, whether you want to do this or not, you could engage in that conversation.
And for this, they can contact on WhatsApp.
They can contact you. You put the number there, right?
Yes.
Your WhatsApp number. So people can send WhatsApp Manoj. You can WhatsApp me as well. You can put my WhatsApp number as well there, Manoj. You don't have to call me directly. You can call me on WhatsApp. It doesn't cost you anything. And like that. Hey, Weng, why don't you share with us what you got from the program? Weng is a old graduate, so it'd be good to hear from people as well.
Yeah, I've been you sent me. So anyway, what I really wanted to share is like I'm from the Philippines, and like Elena was saying about the cultural thing when it comes to corporate, like when you go to a meeting, the boss has the final say, the boss leads where the conversation will go. But after taking this course, I was able to be comfortable with disagreement. Like, I was able to catch the downloading, the thoughts that come to my head that makes me feel uncomfortable. I have two choices in that moment, to be comfortable and shut up, which is what I usually do. But after taking this course, I realized when I speak up, it serves the higher purpose. It's not about me anymore, but it's really, how can I move this conversation forward? If I wanted to contribute my life to the world, then it means letting go. There's this technology about letting go of fear and just, be courageous. But when I choose the courage, I got that that courage is for a bigger purpose. It's not about me anymore. It's not about looking good. It's not about this is comfortable, but it's really going out there and honoring what I'm really meant to accomplish in the world. And this work has shifted most of my relationship. It shifted, how I talk to my mom, how I relate to other people. It's once I catch that downloading, then I'm sure a miracle can happen. A miracle is available. It's like really putting my life in the technology, and it's really putting my life. And I know, it's a playground out there as long as I'm in touch with that bigger purpose. So
Right.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much, Wang. Somebody else, somebody from India who has done the program, you'd like to share? I can't quite see.
I would like to share, Ferdi.
Yeah, SK, go ahead.
Yes, I did it in 2000. I did this program in 2019, June. While I considered that I've gone through a lot of transformation in my life through other programs that I have done it before 17 years ago and been practicing. One of the things I got really, what opened up for me in this program is about my willingness to see a new feature that can emerge. So I had a initiative in a multinational company in India. And I was very clear about what can be created there or not. I thought I had that clarity. But when I did the program, I saw how much that was part of my own downloading. I was not open for new possibilities to show up. It opened up a lot of new opportunities for me. So since 2019 to now, it's almost 2 years now, June to June, the kind of expansion that has happened in our initiative is unbelievable. And I think precisely because I had that initiative, it all boils down to if I was open enough to take those opportunities that were thrown at me to convert it as a business or not. And I can say very clearly, if I had not done this program, the expansion wouldn't have been possible the way it is right now. And I'm like, given like last 2 years I've been practicing, I'm open for any kind of idea that is thrown at me from any of my stakeholders to consider it first and see if it can be converted into reality. And that's like a huge shift for me of who I am. And the business that we are in is expanded multifold just because of one distinction. Forget about, there are so many other distinctions that we discussed in the program. There's one distinction of listening, of being aware about it, downloading and letting it go, and listening to the future that is emerging was mind-blowing. Yeah, thank you.
Very good, SK. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to share?
Yeah, Ferdi, this is Pradeep here.
Yes, Pradeep.
I should say that after doing the first level of the program, there's been a lot of transformation, particularly in the area of my relationship with myself, my relationship with my circumstances, and my relationship with others. So it started from there. There was total transformation as we used the word downloading and coming down to to the eye of the needle, to that level. There has been a tremendous change in my attitude, in my relationship. I mean, like I was holding back things to me, which I really opened up, and that actually brought a lot of difference in my relationship at home, in my professional circles, in my social circles. So that was the impact from me to others. And when I did the second level of the program, that actually transformed my social and professional journey, which I'm really thankful. And it happened at a pace which I never expected, because I was trying to produce results in my life for years. Now, in a few months, this happened that after crystallizing and creating a prototype and then working on that prototype, having a core team working with you, which actually they're performing like an orchestra. I mean, I don't have to push anybody because they were aligned with the vision which was created, and I not only gave a practical shape to my first prototype aligned with my vision. We launched our first program already, which is running in the 5th week of it, because I am into the entrepreneurial mindset and leadership development program that I've launched. For career counselors, I'm launching for the youth, and the faculty development program, which is coming to 3 prototypes. First is already running. Second, we are launching in the 3rd week of July, and the third one on the 15th of August. And I never expected these results, to be honest. But that transformation from the past, like breaking the shackles of the past, breaking those chains, and being free, and having a relationship with everybody, and also relationship with money, which was not there, to be honest. So I mean, everything I see the total change, but very powerful. And particularly, I like to share that the tools used, like whether we call it 4 levels or listening or stakeholders interview or case clinic or empathy walk, all these are so powerful and unexpected. This thing, sometimes you feel like, what difference this case clinic can make. But when you go through it, go through that process, it has been total change, total transformation. So thank you.
That's wonderful, Pradeep. Thank you for sharing. Now, if there's any of you who are guests and you'd like to ask questions of these people, please feel free. So you get direct opportunity to ask them, oh, how did that happen? How can you make that happen? Or how can I make something else happen? So any questions that you have, because we still have what, about 20 minutes or so to go before we need to wrap up.
Yes, you got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you also got some more friends from Philippines here.
Oh, great. Yes, yes. And you know, Miriam, why don't you share something? You got your friends here, right? So put you at risk here. Miriam, sorry. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Okay, I'll share. First, I'd like to give you a little background on how I came to know Yu. It was my husband who first attended the course. And then for a long time, he courted me into attending it. It given me all the powerful shares that he had, but I was very busy until Wang got the hold of me. So I think it was because Wang and I had been, and Manoj also, we had been talking about how to empower women, which is really my advocacy. And before I attended the course, Yu, I was always at the level of, just training people from the government. That's why I have many guests here tonight. And it was never about really coming up with a project that will make a tangible difference in the lives of women, particularly in terms of empowerment. And now I'm into that, and I would have never thought of doing that if I did not attend this course. The levels of listening and the fields of conversation are the two tools that were presented to you earlier are very powerful in terms of changing the way I look at my work, the way I look at my advocacy, and even the way I look at the women around me, the people around me. And I get to see them now as my collaborators. And I'm not the only one who is causing this, because people around me really got my back. Thank you.
Very good, Miriam. Thank you very much for sharing. And, your friends listened to you and came. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. So, any questions from anybody? This is a fabulous group. It just allows me to talk and doesn't say anything back. But it'd be nice if you said something. Shrikant, you want to say something? No? Okay. Okay.
Ferdi, I just wanted to say
yes,
something.
Please, Manoj.
Yeah, because you have someone named Mona and you mentioned about your age, and so I just wanted to say that for a long while I knew what my purpose was. Okay, when I was working, I knew why I was doing it, etc., etc. And then I lost it. And when I thought, I'm already 71, so do I really need a purpose? So when people ask me, so where do you want to go with your life? I said, I just don't have how many years left. I couldn't imagine it. But it was this course that opened my heart in a way that I couldn't imagine. It opened up, and maybe because you guys were listening. You were really listening to what I wanted to say that I didn't even know I wanted to say. And when that came out, then I realized that what I've been wanting is to have an opportunity to really enable people in a way and enable myself to express, to have a voice, to say what I believe in, and to work towards that. And my vision became clear, is that my vision is for men and women to work together, to collaborate, and to build together or even sense together what we wanted as a future for our country. And that moves me in everything I do. It now has given me a purpose to move forward. I don't know how many years I have left. Doesn't matter. I just know that this is what I want as my intention and my contribution.
Right.
I
Very
want to
good.
thank you because that's what it did for me.
Very good. Mitch, thank you very much. You're very inspiring. You inspire me. Thank you for your stand for your country, for the stand for your people. And I know there are a lot of Indians here, and I know you stand for your country and you stand for your people. And then Eleanor stands for the Spanish and the Belgium and the Dutch, right, Eleanor? Just kidding. But be great. Very good. Any questions from anybody? Anything you want to ask anyone that'll help you in making up your mind?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, Eleanor, thank you. And Eleanor, if you want to participate, it will be a little bit early for you. It starts at 7:30 UK time. And
Oh, wow.
3:30,
Yeah.
because these Indian guys, you know, the majority of them
Yeah.
are in India. So it'll be 6:30 for you, I think. And
Yeah.
it'll get over
Okay, thank you.
do it. But I think people still manage it. There are people from the US who come and do it, and for them it's the middle of the night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks to you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, anybody else, or should we wrap up, Manoj, or what do you think? Doesn't look as though anybody has any questions, and there's no point in dragging things on. I think I'm going to wrap up. I really want to thank you.
Yeah, I think we should thank people.
Yeah, thank you for being here and for listening and engaging. Most of the people have been here all the way through. And obviously what we said has engaged you. So that's very nice. And, you know, it's a great opportunity to I really am for, and we really are for causing a new civilization in the world, a new kind of world. It's not working. This world is not working. And it's time for us to change it. And we want to all work towards changing it. And we can. And that's what this is all about. Very good. Thank you all, and good night, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you.
Thank you.
And hopefully some of you will see you around the campus. Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
also
you
send
very
the
much.
link here in the chat.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank
send
you
you the
so
link
much.
in the chat, everybody. You can copy this link. Thank you. This is a registration link.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
And Ferdi sir, I think in the entire session, the last line which you just said, I think is the most inspiring.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
the most
it is.
inspiring, you know, and it gives everyone a reason, you know, to maybe enroll themselves in anything of the kind you're teaching, and then, you know, bring about a change which is actually needed. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you.
Mona, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you,
Eleanor.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, Mona.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bench, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Kenny, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.